Listen, Linda.
Oh, did you watch that video, Brian?
Getting there.
Yes.
Isn't that
That's
amazing?
ridiculous.
Listen, Linda.
Linda, you're not listening.
No, you're not listening.
You want to get the papow? No.
You want to get the papow?
3, 2, 1.
Well, so that's enough of that jabber, John. Let's get on with the show.
What are you talking about?
What are you?
I don't know. I'm just making up something for an intro.
We just started.
Oh,
Jim.
yeah, we just started.
God damn it. All right.
All right.
All right. Welcome back.
See you guys next week. Bye.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Server Restart In. It is a weekly World of Warcraft podcast hosted by three opinionated players who like to get together to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim. I'm joined by Kristen.
Hello.
And Brian.
Hello.
And I think an appropriate topic for today, since not really much is going on, is...
WoW.
Well, yes, it's WoW. But it's a specific thing about it, and it's Burnout.
Oh.
Oh no.
No,
We have this
okay.
conversation, Dad.
Now, Brian, I'm upset that you're not logging in more.
I knew this day would come.
I mean, if he's upset that you're not logging in more, imagine how upset he is that I'm not logging in more.
I mean, technically,
Yeah,
I'm not either.
I figure you guys have already filed for a divorce at this point.
No. No, so there's a lot of things that revolve around burnout, right? I mean, obviously, if you do something a lot for a long time without much of a change, it's easy to get disenchanted with it, bored of it. It's kind of, I want to liken it to something I see when I watch YouTube videos for guys that do competitive eating or do eating challenges. No, like seriously. Like if it's one thing, no, this makes a lot of sense, right? It's like a
There's burnout and competitive eating.
So if you eat a lot of the same food, you get like flavor fatigue, right? It gets to the point where you've had the same taste for over. So like some of the things they'll do is they'll get like a Diet Coke or something like that, something to change the flavor, or hopefully the foods are different, you know. But like if you have to eat like a big steak or something like that, you'll get sick of the taste of meat, right? And so you need something to break that up. So it's kind of the same thing with playing WoW in a kind of essentially the same state for a while, is that you get WoW fatigue, right? You get not bored, but just disinterested, you know, and it's just
there's no crack to it anymore.
Right. You've hit that what is the word when you
I won't know this one.
You will. It's
No.
Sure, you know, you have a tolerance for it. You've built up that tolerance.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, tolerance isn't a word that you wouldn't know. Come on. Your tolerance you build up your tolerance and it's just not engaging anymore. So like we've been recently having a hard time putting a raid team together because people just aren't around. So we really haven't raided the last couple of Sundays.
So it's kind of it's like a mass problem right now. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, yes,
I thought it was just me. Like, because I usually kind of do this throughout expansion. So
right, you have a lower tolerance to the point where like your saturation level is lower than like say ours or even mine, right? You know, it's just like you play long enough and then it's just like other things come up and it's just like it's not grabbing you. It's not
hard to get back in. It really is hard to get back in.
And it is hard to get back in. It usually takes a new expansion for you to come back in, or like a really big content update. And that's kind of one of the problems with like these like half patches, is that it doesn't necessarily deliver a lot of content. It does and it doesn't.
It sucks, because from my perspective, like I just feel, I almost want to say I feel overwhelmed when I log in. But I'm like, I don't want to make that argument of or complain about like, oh, there's too much to do now, because we're never going to hit the happy medium, whatever that is. You know what I mean? But I also don't want the game to be the crack it was originally either, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to feel obligated to jump in and play at all.
Right.
But it's still set up that way. It is still set up in a way that you have a ladder to climb to some extent, right? And you can fall behind even when they give you the mini ladder to climb up a little higher with here's the gear to catch up and all this stuff, but or the extra dungeon. It's just, I don't know, man. It's like for me, and I don't mean, I'm not trying to deter your process of going through this, but I wanted to say, like, I was thinking about this the other day as somebody asked me about it, and I'm like, I think that one, I feel disconnected from the story right now, me, and then two, I know that I have personally little bitty time slots to contribute and stay focused on the game. And so, it's really hard for me to trade that off with other things that I could get more like I've been playing Oxygen Not Included on Steam. And I don't know if you ever played it before, but it's just like, it's a 2D game where you just sit and manage a colony that you build out, and you have to manage the air, gases around you, liquids around you, all kinds of stuff to keep them alive and keep them building so you could get out of this asteroid or whatever it is. And so what's intriguing about this game for me is it just sits and trains on my brain quite a bit. And it's like, it's got the replayability, it's got the crack part of it.
Well, part of it too is that it's different. It's not WoW. You know what I mean?
I mean, it is true, but it's a WoW to some extent at this point has enough differentiation in the game that should be like,
sure. But
again, like, I don't want to start this conversation again, but if it was more of a persistent world that I cared about, not that I don't care about it, I care about the lore. I don't care about the game, how it represents the actual lore, because I don't think it's very representational of the actual lore itself.
Well,
right?
So like this last patch that came out, it had some story stuff, some little follow up with the tier stuff, and then the infinite dragonflight stuff, right? That story and that story that you can finish up pretty quick. So it's like there's a little bit of story and all that stuff, and it does follow kind of like the lore bits and like the infinite or the time dungeon, the Dawn of the Infinite or whatever. You hit a couple of beats and it's like some different things in like the past, well, not really. I mean, I guess you do like the Blight of Galakron, which you don't even fight Galakron, he's dead. But like, there's not like, there's like one thing where you fight like, since we were a horde, we went in and we were fighting like some alliance guy from a different, I think from the Arathi Highlands, but the BFA version of it, because it had like that big mech thing was there.
Yeah. So
I mean, but like, it's not really like ties into it, but it does, because it's the infinite dragonflight and Nozdormu and all that stuff. So there is story around it, but it's not a lot. And like they threw in a bunch of like, they got all these like time rifts and stuff like that, and like the same thing with like Nathanos. They had basically a Varian Wren analog that was a Murgle that needed to reforge as Charlemagne, but it was Charlemagne or something like that, because he's a Murloc or something like that. So there was like a whole little quest line around it. So they throw in like these like neat little like Easter eggs and like these funny little things from these alternate things. So you have stuff to do, but it's all like end game stuff, right? It's like you can do dungeons, you can do these time raids, and you can farm those every hour to get stuff to buy, like cosmetic stuff, maybe some catch up gear and all that stuff. And then you got the raid, and like and PvP. And it's like, it's at the point where it's all end game content and it's all still kind of the same. It's like, it's the same dungeons that for season 2, because season 2 goes until the fall or the end of summer, right? Till there'll be different dungeons. Who the hell knows what they're going to put in it, because there's no more Dragonflight dungeons to put in it. So is it all going to be like old world dungeons in season 3? Don't know.
What if they just start over with the...
It'll at least be the 2 Dawn of the Infinite ones when they split the mega dungeon up. So it'll at least be those 2. But like, there's no other dungeons to add to it. So I mean, they could pick 2 like the favorite ones out of the first 2 seasons to put in there. I don't know. We'll see. But it's like, it's like we still try to get on, do some keys.
Okay, so let me ask you, Jim.
Me?
Are you burnt out in any capacity?
Yeah. It's I'm either burnt out or...
Are you burnt out by the effect of other people being burnt out? Like it's hard to form raid and stuff like that?
Well,
I think it's an effect of other people being burnt out.
Well, that's part of it. So if there wasn't other stuff to do elsewhere, I would probably still be playing WoW every day, right? Because it's just kind of an easy go-to. I could level Death Knights. I could level other characters and all that stuff. I could do that, because it's something to do, and the story's pretty neat and all that stuff, and go through it and see, do a little bit. I still need to go get the, God, I think there's a new quest that they added to the end of the human heritage armor stuff that I need to go do. They kind of like finish it up some other stuff. I forget exactly what that is, but like I saw that they did that. And like there's dailies and stuff. Like there's T-Mog farming and pet farming and mount farming and all that stuff that I could do. But it was like a month or so ago they announced that, Guild Wars 2 is coming out with a new expansion. In like 2 months. It comes out the end of August. So it's like, okay, well, that got me excited. I'm going to log into Guild Wars 2.
Oh, we've been playing the crap out of Guild Wars 2.
Well, part of it is like...
We got our guild hall.
Yeah, we did that. But they have... So their mount system's a little bit different than WoW. It's like there's only like 5 or 6 like mounts, period. And then you can buy or farm skins for them. But like, and they all have different purposes. Like I think we've talked about this. The raptor can long jump. The springer can high jump. The manta ray can hover over water and fire and stuff like that and float a little bit and all that stuff. Well, there's one.
You can do it it goes underwater too.
Yeah, once you train it up
you do the
and stuff
quest.
like that.
Yeah.
But like, there's all these things you have to do but they got this one called the Sky Scale, which is basically a dragon. It's essentially dragon riding.
It is.
But it has hover. It's different. It's
you can
different.
hover.
It's different.
Which is,
it is, it's one
Blizzard. When you copied and pasted, you didn't copy and paste.
It's
you
not. It's not a copy paste though.
You left out the hover part
because
it is different. They mixed together the Griffin and the Sky Scale, and they made in my opinion, a not superior version. Like it's not superior.
But to get it, you have to do a bunch of achievements and collection farming and all that stuff, and it takes time. It's a grind. But apparently when the new expansion comes out, they're changing how you can acquire it to make it easier. But if you have it beforehand, I guess you either have a different
skin, you get a new skin.
You get a new skin, and like you get to keep some of the old abilities or something like that. Or something.
So
there's some advantage to doing it.
There's not really. You get a new skin. Because the way that it looks like, if you have Path of Fire and you go train up, because you're going to get a Sky Scale. So if you have Path of Fire and you have those masteries, then you can go back and train those masteries. So you're going to get it no matter what. I thought it would be cool if they actually made it so you actually had to go get the other one as well. Like, you know what I mean? Do that as well to unlock the masteries. But no, that's not how it is.
Regardless,
so you're going to get a skin.
There's a benefit to doing it beforehand. So it's like, okay, well, I'll do that. And it's just like, it's a mix of doing some world bosses and doing some of their jumping puzzles and getting a different mount that you need to do to get to certain parts of it so that you can get the other stuff for this mount and stuff like that. It's like I had to go play hide and seek like 8 times with this damn thing, or like
Yeah.
18
Play ball
times
with it.
and play catch with the damn thing. You know, it's like it goes through these phases and stuff like that. And I like the lore of Guild Wars 2. You know, it's unique. You know, just like the world setting and all that kind of stuff. You know, and from playing Guild Wars 1 back in the day and just kind of seeing where it is, because it's set several hundred years after the events of Guild Wars 1 kind of thing. You know, and it's just like kind of seeing how the world's changed. And it's like an action combat type system where you still have skills, but, you know, you also have dodge mechanics and you have weapon kits you can swap. I've always enjoyed the game. So there's stuff that I can do in there that I'm not used to doing because I haven't been doing it. Because we played, I think, when this expansion first came out and then stopped. So it's been a year or two or months at least since we been playing. So it's kind of like shiny again, right? So that's distracting. And then at the beginning of the month, in August 3rd, Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out. And we've been in the early access for that since probably it was available and stuff.
3 years I saw.
Yeah, they took their time. And that's the one thing not the one thing, but that's one of the reasons why I think Larian Studio is amazing, because they actually put the time to make it right. They're not afraid to push the date back or move it up in the case of the PC release. Like, it was intended to be later in August, but I think Starfall's coming out that time, and so they're like, well, it's pretty much ready, so we're just going to move it up and make it earlier. PS5, we're going to have to push back a week, you know, and they're still working on the Xbox version, but, I mean, it's just like, I've been watching this company, you know, do game development for years. I think Divinity Original Sin 2 came out when we first started working together, or at least the Kickstarter for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it harkens back to the old school. Like, a lot of their games harken back to the old school, you know, third person isometric, like, dungeon games, like Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate 2, like all the D&D ones and all like the knockoffs of it, even a little bit like Diablo, if you want to get to it. It's the same kind of view and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of their stuff was already in that vein anyway. And it's just continuing, and it's just like everything they've done is just stupid amazing. So much so that other dev companies right now are like, oh, well, this is just like a fluke. You know, you really shouldn't use this to set new standards for RPGs and all that stuff. They're coming. It's like, no, you guys are stupid. You guys just don't want to work and put out such a good product. And like, you're worried about it.
I get it from smaller studios and less established studios, but the big studios should not be weighing
It's
in
the
on
big
that.
studio people
I know,
saying
that's what
this
I'm saying. Well, no, there's some smaller ones who are making valid points, but it's definitely the big studios that should not be, you know.
Any reasonable person would not look at a small 20-person studio and go, you know what? You should be hitting those goals. Yeah. Nobody. Absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
Anybody that's not an idiot can look and go, yeah, you're a 20-person team. Anything, if you put something out that's even remotely close to that, you're killing it.
Yeah.
You know, but Ubisoft, who does Bethesda, you know, all of those, all the people that are doing all that kind of stuff, it's like, yeah, you obviously should be held to these standards. And they're like, oh, it's a 400-person thing, and they have all this experience. Like, assholes. You're working at these companies that have been around forever. What about all your years of experience making games? You have bigger teams. They didn't start out at a 400-person dev team. They started out with like maybe 100, 120, and they built up over the years of development. So, I mean, what the hell? It's like all your arguments are stupid, and you're worried that people are going to be like, well, why aren't you guys doing it? Because they rightly should. It's like the bar has been set, or, you know, it's like, what's this thing? It's like something you've been found lacking or whatever. It's like they're worried because, you know, whatever, and they should be. But like, there's all these like new shiny things right now, which are a distraction from WoW, and it's like, and we've gone through this throughout our history of WoW. We did it when Ion came out, back in 2012 or something like that, which was a Korean MMO kind of thing, grindy as hell. We did it when Guild Wars 2 first came out, and it's like, we've taken breaks from WoW before, but we've always come back, and, probably will come back unless something like super really shitty.
Wow.
Well,
the way that you said that was just funny. Probably will come back. Of course we're going to come back. It's not.
Well, no. I don't want to say that it's always a guarantee that we will come back to this game.
Yeah, I guess.
Because they could just decide to completely make it a first-person shooter. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? They could do something so asinine and stupid.
Yeah.
And change it such a way that it's just like, well, yeah, no. Like, they could kill all our characters and start the world over, or do something stupid like that, which they should never do. But you never know. You might get somebody and go, I got this great idea. Let's do this. And like, because anybody with a lick of sense is going to understand how much these characters mean to people. They knew enough to have a way for the Chinese players to offload their character data into a secure location when it's shut down, so that somehow, if there was ever a way they got back into that market, they could bring their characters back. That was great. The fact that they did that, it's like they came up with the tools, like this will, I don't know if it encrypted it or whatever, but this will, like, it'd be funny if they didn't and they found some way to hack it and everybody's rocking around with corrupted Ashbringers and shit like that. Shit that's not obtainable, or like that one GM shirt that you can kill everything with, like those stories, like those old school stories from way back in the day. God, we should do that. That's what we should do one time, is just find like a couple like old, like crazy stories from back in the day and just talk about those. It'll be a good episode later on. But yeah, so yeah, burnout's a thing. And I think that it's really hard to deal with these like smaller little patches between the big patches. Now we're going to have another one coming up soonish, the 10.1.7 stuff, which is, I'm sure Brian will play because he needs to get his heritage armor, because he's been waiting for it for a long time. Maybe you'll just get yours automatically. Maybe that'll be Blizzard's gift to us for doing such a wonderful job with this podcast, talking about how people don't want to play their game.
Grab it, then log out.
Yeah. But that's the thing too. It's like we still log in to do keystones and stuff like that. We try to log in and do raid. I need to get on and finish the trading post. I think I have 100 points left to do that so I can get that stupid Nether Drake skin.
I keep forgetting.
That's how much I haven't played.
Yeah.
That's how much I haven't played, is that it is the 27th of July, and
I got that thing before you did.
Yeah. Haven't, which it's insane.
I've already gave in. I know I'm not going to be able to do it.
Oh, you can. You can. Well, you can do stuff like kill 25 raid bosses. You just go do old.
I won't be able to do it.
You could if you wanted to.
If I wanted
really
to.
Bad.
If I really could get into it, I could. But yeah. I won't be able to.
But that's the thing too. Like, having a goal is another thing too. Like end game. Like, it's like we've already hit the Keystone Master stuff, like the 20,000 or whatever. We already got the stuff, the mount and all that stuff for the season. We've cleared the normal raid. We haven't had enough people on to really even get a good attempt at heroic. So it's just like, I don't PvP. There's nothing in the game right now, which that's another thing too, that kind of a way to combat burnout too is the FOMO stuff, right? The fear of missing out. Like, there's certain things that are time limited, which, like, we've already kind of got those things done. There's really, like, the fact that there's nothing there other than some of the trading post stuff that eventually is going to roll back around anyway. You know what I mean? There's like nothing there to really be like, well, if you don't log in, you're going to miss out, which is a good thing. But, and I don't know if that's really anything that really kept me playing. I think what really keeps me playing WoW is no desire to do anything else. You know what I mean? It's like, I could have played Guild Wars a long time ago and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like there have been plenty of periods of time where there's been downtime in WoW, but I chose to like do something stupid like level a Death Knight of every race. You know what I mean? No, it's an achievement, and they still haven't given me like the
It's insane.
world. They haven't given me
They
the world
haven't
first.
given you your due diligence.
They haven't given me a world first yet, which, I mean, I should be like the Lich King Jr. or something like that. I should get that title.
Lich King Jr. Oh god.
Lich King.
They give me a title of Arthas, but it's
That sounds like a Burger
ARTHUS.
King meal. The
Yeah.
Lich King Jr.
Yep.
Oh
But
man.
you know what I mean? It's just like, so we all suffer from different forms of burnout, right? It's like you have things that kick you out earlier because, it doesn't have its hooks in you as much anymore. Me, it takes something else to be shinier at the moment, and I mean, Kristen really just plays when she's not playing Final Fantasy 14, which or Guild Wars 2 now. But
I mean, to be fair, I log into Final Fantasy to maintain my house, and I do my subs, but that's pretty much all I do in Final Fantasy 14 right now.
Right. Well, and that's another thing too. Like Final Fantasy 14 is kind of in a dead spot right now with not necessarily a lot of stuff to do either. So, I mean, it's just not a lot of story.
There's stuff to do. It's just
not interesting to you?
I have other things I'm ready to do. Like I'm enjoying doing the stuff in WoW. Or not WoW.
Really?
Yeah.
You logging into WoW without
Wow.
me? Not telling me?
I'm enjoying doing the stuff in
Guild Wars.
Guild Wars.
Yeah. So I think burnout is healthy. I think that if that's all you do, and if you focus so much time to the game because you feel that you have to, right? It's the same thing as like that sunken cost fallacy stuff, right? It's like, well, I've paid so much money into this, I need to keep playing it. Like, no, you don't. It's like, you know what?
It's gone.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything like that. It's like if you put so much time into something, and you need to not feel that, well, it's like I've already put so much time, I might as well finish. Like, it's like if it's not going to benefit you, or if you're not getting any enjoyment out of it or whatever, just stop it. It's like, don't drag it out. Yeah, stop it. Just don't drag it out, because
just pull out and move on.
Yeah, being miserable is not worth the it's not worth it. Yeah. It's like, so I think burnout is healthy, and I think really go ahead.
It's funny that you say this, because like I know I had this conversation with my son, right? In the same type of vein. And I told him, I'm like I still, like, we're still friends. So it's not going to change. The game is not going to make anything different. The game bonded us together originally, right?
Yeah, that was like, we definitely talked about it.
I mean, it's not even the people that are in the guild that I can vaguely recall, right? Who is who in the game. I still like jumping in the meme chat or saying stuff in general every so often.
Oh yeah,
I like that.
So
I feel like we got a decent community of people, and so I don't feel so bad anymore disconnecting from WoW. Once upon a time, I did kind of care about disconnecting from WoW because of those things, because I would see people disconnect and disappear, and that sucks. So it's, but then again, like, yeah, the difference is too, a lot of the time is I have 3 kids, whereas I did not have 3 kids when I started playing WoW. So, and that's at a certain point, it's like, well, we have our little group of folks that has a good time regardless of what they do, and I just like the feeling of that it's right there at my fingertips on my phone whenever I want to dip into it. So
yeah.
And I'm glad that like I'm not anchored to WoW. That's not to say that I really yearn to have something there, but it just doesn't. It's not fitting into my life right now. So I'll pay for it, and I log in whenever I can actually get myself to want to do something. And to be fair, I think it's been a week and a half now, but I did heal a dungeon.
Nice.
So meh.
I mean,
as a warlock,
it's funny
As a
because
paladin.
Jim and I were just having this conversation earlier today, where we were talking about so we have a friend who we started playing Ion with, right? So how long ago was Ion?
pretty sure
20 years ago.
No,
not quite that long.
10 maybe.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
I
it was.
just kidding.
I
was grossly kidding.
No, it
even
came out in
before
2009.
2009. Okay, so 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14 years ago, right? So this friend that we played Ion with, and so we played Ion, we played Terra,
Oh,
we
yeah.
played
Oh, what was that WoW killer of that time?
Wildstar.
Rift.
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 We didn't play Rift. But
You didn't play
anyway,
with, okay.
the
Not with her.
yeah, no, I mean, I played Rift, but we didn't play Rift with her. Anyway,
Rift wasn't that good.
she plays the Diablo games, right? So, and I haven't talked to her in a while, right? It's been long swathes of time between the times that we talk. We talk every once in a while. I just got her on Discord, right? But we'll talk through the Blizzard Battle.net thing every once in a while, not very often, right? So we started talking again during Diablo 4. We're like, oh, hey, here it is 14 years later, what kind of stuff has changed, right? So it was neat catching up and everything. So then we started, so Jim and I have been playing, like I said, we've been playing Guild Wars. And I said to her, I sent her a message in the Blizzard launcher Battle.net thing.
Battle.net.
And I was like, hey, I don't know if you still have, Guild Wars is free. Like you can play.
It's buy to play.
There's a free to play component as well. It's free to play. You can buy.
But she had played way back in the day, so.
Yes. So anyway, I'm like, we're gonna get our guild hall, up and running. Well, we got it. Up and running is, another thing. But anyway, I'm like, we're gonna get our guild hall. Hey, if you want to play, if you want to log in and play. So she did. She started logging in and playing, right? So we've been playing the past couple of nights.
Insanity.
Yes, because we are the type of people who will go explore a map. We went and explored a map, and we were killing. They have MOA in the game, which are basically flamingos, right? And we ran around and we killed them. Pretty sure we killed so many of them that we spawned a champion MOA to take us out because we were just running around killing all the MOA. And it was hilarious.
These two have been running around like 5-year-olds.
Yeah, oh yeah. We run around and we murder all the things.
Insane.
It's hilarious.
But it's exactly like it was.
Yeah.
All them years ago.
14 years ago. We just fell right back into it. And that's the thing about, I said to Jim, I'm like, it's kind of a testament to the people that we play with. And that the friends that we make along the way, that we can pick up 14 years later, like nothing ever changed, like we can just, and that's pretty awesome.
And that's the thing too, right? Is like, we got a pretty solid group of people that we play WoW with, right? Mm-hmm. And the fact that we're kind of disconnected or burnt out or whatever doesn't change the fact that we enjoy that playing with them and just like the world in general. It's just like the WoW lore and the WoW universe and all that stuff, I still deeply enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's like, and I still enjoy playing the game. I really enjoy my character because I've been playing
Yeah.
the same character since Wrath came out, you know? And it's just like, that's it. You know, it's like, that's my character. And it's like, the changes that they've made to the game since, you know, Wrath came out or since I started playing at the end of BC and all that stuff don't bother me as much as it does some people because I still enjoy being in that world of,
Mhm.
of Warcraft. You know, it's one of those things where it's just like, it's like an old book you come back and read again. You know, it's like like one of your favorite books. You know, like you don't have to like read it for like 10 years, but you still remember a lot about it. Then you come back and read it, and it's just like it's just as good as you remembered it, maybe even a little bit better, or
Yeah.
you can enjoy it differently.
Yeah.
You know, like you have a better understanding or a more mature, you know, connection with it, kind of thing. You know, it's just like, so I think it's okay to take a break from WoW. I think it's okay to be like, I don't feel like I'm getting anything out of this right now. I need to step away. You know, it doesn't have to be for a long time. It could be for years.
Mhm.
You know, it could be never. You know, it just really depends on the person. But like, if you're sitting out there and you're thinking it's just like, I got to keep playing or otherwise my life doesn't have any meaning. It's like, no. It's like,
Yeah.
WoW's not going anywhere. It's already been here for almost 20 years. This November is 19 years, right?
Hot
You know,
damn.
it's there. You know, it's probably going to be there for a while. And even if it's not, there's going to be something out there that does it. And I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere. It's just too popular. Even if all they do is leave the main server up and just recycle dungeons and just do seasons, you know what I mean? And just kind of be like,
Yeah.
okay, now we're going to, even if all they do is just make new affixes and change up the mythic dungeon pool and all that stuff and maybe put in like mythic, like they did with the raids at the end of Shadowlands, like the
Mhm.
plus raids or whatever, and start doing like a rotation of different like X-Pack raids and stuff like that. They have a whole end game thing that they could do. It's just like Guild Wars. Guild Wars has this whole end game concept that people still do. And that
Yeah.
game came out right around the same time as WoW. Either in 04, 05, or 06. It was something like that. It was right around the same time. You know, and it's a completely different experience. But there's still people that go on there and do end game stuff. There's still like a rabid fan base. It's the same thing with people that still fucking play RuneScape and all that shit. You know
Yep.
what I mean? It's like, it's probably not going to be anywhere for a while. And honestly, if they ever were going to shut it down, you could probably even strongly make a case that somebody would find a way to hack their shit and steal all their data so that you could port your character over or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there might be a way to do that. I mean, because you can access a lot of that stuff. So I mean, they might find a way to port your characters over to private servers or something like that where you can keep it going
Mhm.
if you wanted to. So I mean, it's just like, don't feel bad if you feel like you're not getting anything out of it. Take a break and then come back to it. You know, it's like,
Yep.
I think a lot of it is, I think a lot of people around our age group are okay with that because it's not like younger people are just kind of like next big shiny thing. Let's get like this fast action gameplay at the end and all that stuff, and they'll just jump ship. It's the same thing you see that in the business world. People just job hopping, right? People will game hop and stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, and it's just a difference.
I feel like people are looking for a game home. You know what I mean? But some people aren't. Some people are just looking for
They're looking for wherever like the action is.
yeah.
Like, and it doesn't, I don't mean like it's like hopping and all that shit. I mean, it's like, what's the big thing right now? There is enough of a end game community with the internet MDIs and like PvP seasons and all that kind of stuff to keep people playing. Because there are some people that's all they do. They level enough to get up to max level, and then they work on that one thing, and that's all they do. You know what I mean? It's like it's the same thing with people that play like shooter games, right? You know, it's like they get into like the PvP server, not server stuff, but like the PvP, like first person shooter games, like the battle royale stuff. And, you know, it's just like, they just move on. So it's just like, WoW's got a pretty strong base community. I think it's not going anywhere. And I think that it's okay to go check out what else is out there, because if you don't, you're just really gonna, it's one of those things where you could stay there long enough to the point where you hate it.
Yep.
And that goes with anything with life, really. I mean, it's just like, chill out and take a step back and reevaluate. You know, if it's not worth your time and it's not worth the effort, don't do it. And then you'll have less stress. You'll have less resentment for things, you know? So, yeah. I don't know. That's kind of all I wanted to talk about. You know, there's not really much going on. If you have Amazon Prime, there's a Silver Pig for Prime Rewards until the end of August 24th.
Silver Pig what?
I just got it
Pet.
an hour ago.
Oh.
Yeah, I picked it up.
I have to do that.
It's a Silver Pig pet. It's just a gray pig. It's not Zuckerman's favorite pig, though. It's a deep cut.
What?
Charlotte's Web.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's some pig. All right. Well, anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap that up. So, because I'm going off the deep end. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You can check us out at facebook.com/server restart in. Shoot us a tweet at server_restart. And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.